What do you guys think of adults texting each other to talk?
Like if you're texting and you're like, you feel a certain way, and if you were talking in person, then you could say that in a certain way. Like you could say in just a regular voice or like an angry voice or something. But with texting, they don't know how you really think.
You know, we all use these phones so much for everything. I got to thinking, it's become such a part of how we communicate, who we are, how we talk to each other. And it got me thinking, is texting a good way to communicate? Is it a good way to build relationships? One of the ways that texting would be good would be for logistics. So if my wife wants me to pick her something up at the store, just got a text message from my wife right there. If she wanted me to pick her up something from the store, so she wanted to text me a grocery list. If I was picking a friend up from the airport, texting me a flight number, the time that they're arriving. Any of those would be a great use of texting. If you're sharing an idea for, what is a good gift idea for your daughter for her birthday. So my wife just texted me something the other day, a picture from Amazon saying, hey, can you order this? This is the thing we talked about. So it's great for stuff like that. It's good for small talk. It's good for adding to communication and not substituting for communication. I think that's a good rule of thumb. I also find texting good for adding surprise and in relationships. If you want to send just I love you, random compliments and stuff like that, I find in working with couples that they really enjoy that kind of thing. Let's talk about maybe some of the reasons it's not so good and some of the things that you should stay away from texting for. I tend to be pretty heavily critical of it just because I see it do a lot of damage. It causes confusion. There's these things that I call the 4 channels of communication. It's not what I call them. It's out there. This is knowledge that's out there. The 4 channels of communication, which are words, gestures, tone of voice, and context. So those are 4 channels, those are 4 ways that people communicate what they're thinking and feeling to each other. So words is obvious. That's the one channel that texting tends to keep. You got the words. Tone of voice obviously is lost with a text message. You can't get tone of voice in a text message. The context of what you're saying, which is really important in communicating something. I could look out this window right now and say, look at that pretty green plant, and you have no idea what I'm talking about because you can't see what I see looking out this window. So you would need the context of looking out this window to understand what I'm talking about. Also can't get tone of voice, can't get body language. There's no way to do that over texting. So it kind of strips out 3 of the 4 channels of communication. I would say anytime you're looking to go deeper with communication, anytime you're looking for to do something like conflict resolution, usually texting isn't going to be your best method, your best approach to solve something like that. 3 rules to follow for good communication through texting. 1 would be intentional. Be intentional and know what you're trying to communicate. Know what you're trying to say and know what you're not saying. And try to do whatever you can to make that clear in the text message when you send it. Limit texting to logistics. Limit it to sending a list. Limit it to just small talk. If you want to have a deep conversation with somebody you love, or a friend, or your wife, or your husband, if you want to have a deep conversation with somebody, it's probably better off being done in person. And 3, if there is any doubt after you send a text message, whether you're on the receiving end of it and you're wondering, oh, I wonder what that meant, or if you're on the if you're sending it, follow up with the person, especially if it's your wife or somebody you're coming home to later, your wife or your husband or whoever it might be. or even a friend, when you see them the next time, follow up and say, hey, did you understand what I meant? And if there's any question at all that they might not get it, it's probably better to give them a call. Tonight, my wife and I are going out for our 13-year anniversary. She's going to have a much different view on how to text, why to text. She likes it a lot more than I do. So I'm curious to get her perspective on that tonight. If you guys have any thoughts, any uses for texting, any way that it's been useful for you or not useful for you, just drop a few comments down below the video here, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can be more intentional with it, what we can do to make it even a better form of communication, because it's not going to go away. So I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys on my date tonight. Wait 1 second. Yes, much better. See you guys in a little bit. Alright, so we're out celebrating our anniversary, our 13-year anniversry. I told you guys I'm going to ask Jody here what her opinion of text messaging is. What's the verdict?
I think it's extremely valuable. With 4 children, it's hard to get any sentence in without any sort of distraction. So I can text all day long and not have to worry about kids distracting me. And I hate talking on the phone, so that actually is super helpful as well. And I can answer whenever I want to.
There you go. There you have it. Thank you, Jody. Alright guys, so we are back from our date. And just chilling here, relaxing.
Called chillaxing.
So Jody was talking earlier about how clearly she values texting a lot more than I do, because I think she considers it a much more valuable communication tool. And like I was saying earlier, I think it does definitely have its definitely has its purposes. So
Yeah, like no talking.
No talking, but would you agree, Joe, that sometimes it doesn't get the job done?
Right.
Does it create confusion sometimes, would you say?
Or conflict at times, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Like when I text you to do something and then maybe you don't get my text or you don't read it right away.
Right.
Sure.
Like that, or if what you're texting is ambiguous.
Right, and you don't exactly get what I'm trying to communicate.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
But for the most part,
but the point is, so like I was telling them earlier, if it's used as like supplement, like to add to communication instead of replace it. Which I think a lot of people try to use it to just replace communication altogether.
Right, but now you could do like some video texting with body language, and that could be helpful.
Well, yes, but that's not the same thing.
No, it's not entirely the same thing.
Yeah, but
Now, voice texting is the most confusing because half the time it doesn't come out accurate at all. But
yeah,
that's good.
That's true. It has a whole other layer. A whole other layer.
If you know me well enough, you know what I'm trying to say. So.
Well, yeah. I would like to think
that's
so.
the entertainment value of texting.
Yeah.
That's a perk.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up and be intentional, live life on purpose.
Don't text while driving.
Remember that. That's very important. I'll see you guys next time.